I'm gonna start and get going because I know your time is valuable just as mine is. So this is the intro to healthy webinar, and I'm really excited for all of y'all that are on now and that are also watching the replay. And this is going to be a good a little webinar for y'all, so that way you can start to learn the basics around eating healthy. Because once we understand the basics around eating healthy, that's when everything else starts to become a lot easier. So I am going to share my screen with y'all, and let's get this party started. So we are it's the intro to healthy. So we're going to be talking nutrition and cooking 101. So a little bit about me. My name's Nicole Eichinger. You are here, hopefully you know that by now. I'm a registered dietitian, and I have now over 11 years of experience in the food nutrition arena. I started my career in the pediatric and NICU, so I did babies, infants, the sick of the sick, and that was really a lot of where my passion lied for many years, about 5 years. And then after that, I had to make the change into a part-time position. And the only part-time I found was working in dialysis. And I needed a part-time position because I got pregnant, had kids, and I needed to have that life balance of mom and work balance. And so when I was in dialysis, that's really what kind of pushed me into starting my own business, because it really made me see that I wasn't the only one going through the same things that some of these people on dialysis were. And what I'm meaning was that there were so many doctors that I saw, because I had a lot of health struggles at that time. There was a lot of here's a medicine, and a lot of not listening to me. And so some of the things that I really encourage us is to listen to our bodies and take it back to basics, and hence why you are here. And so I feel like that I'm a health warrior. I've overcome a lot of struggles, my thyroid, migraines, and anxieties. And I did that by taking it back to basics, by going back to what makes me feel like me, right? What are the foods that I need to be eating that make me feel good? What are the foods that I need to be eating to help me overcome all these things? And so we're going to be touching on the basics, kind of scratching the surface today in today's webinar, so that way you can start to understand really what we need to be doing. So why do we need to bring it back to basics? When you can simplify it, it means that it's going to stick with you long term. There's all these, like, you can't do this, can't have that, do all these restrictions, and that ends up putting us into this tight little box. And when we're in this tight little box, we don't feel like we have any wiggle room. We don't feel like we have any say or control over our health. But that's not the case. Is that when you learn how to eat healthy, you can have all of those foods that you want to eat. You just have to have it in the right amount. Yesterday I had I call them discovery calls. So someone called me wanting to start working with me. And once I told her, she's from Louisiana, once I told her, you could still have your fried catfish. You should have heard her like, oh my God, you mean I can still have fried catfish? I'm like, absolutely. All foods fit into a healthy lifestyle. It's the fact that we don't want to eat the fried catfish all the time, right? There's a time and place for that. And so that's what I'm going to help you understand a little bit of how to crowd out the bad with the good, how to make those healthy choices majority of the time, to allow for those what I call soul foods, foods that fill your soul, like cake, ice cream, chips, fried catfish. And so if that's something that you want to do, you just need to bring it back to basics and realize that we have to crowd out the bad with the good, meaning that I would dare to say 80 to 90% of the time, you're doing really well with your diet to allow yourself that wiggle room. So the reason many fail is that nutrition has become complicated due to social media. And healthy is way easier than you think. And so I'm really excited to kind of share this with you. And there's going to be a time at the very end for questions. So you can either ask them in the chat box, or you can ask them at the very end, or if you're watching the replay, you can either ask inside the Health Warriors Facebook group, or you can ask inside just by replying to the email that you get with the replay in it. So let's go over the basics, really. So macronutrients, these are something that y'all might have heard before, but don't really understand what it is. So macronutrients, there's three types of macronutrients. There's our protein, there's fat, and there's carbohydrates. So proteins are essentially made up of little tiny building blocks called amino acids. And so you can kind of think of a protein like Legos. Different Legos will make the structure of this. And that's important to know because we all think that we have to have so much protein, but all these little building blocks, all these little amino acids are also found in like some vegetables, our grains, nuts, and seeds. And so we don't always have to have this huge portion, we'll get to that very soon, of protein, of your meats. And so like I said, we'll get to that as well. And they do most of the work in the cells. So actually those amino acids, those are actually what they do, is that their job is to do the work in the cells. And they're required for structure, function, regulation of the body's tissues and organs. So, most of us know it as when we want to build muscle, we need protein, right? Our muscles need protein, and that helps keep us lean. And that's kind of what we've been taught. However, that's true, but it's not the only thing that will keep us healthy, that will keep us lean. So let's talk about fats. And like I said, we'll touch more of the protein and fats and carbs in just a second. I just wanted to skim the surface a little bit so that you guys understand a little bit more. I'm going to exit out of my Facebook because you don't need to hear that. Okay, I lost my, all right. So, hey Shannon. We got some more people coming on. All right, so we understand what protein does to an extent, right? It's our building blocks. It's basically how our bodies build up and make our organs and tissues and actually a lot of our functions as well. And there's actually two kinds of fats. There's saturated fats and unsaturated fats. So the unsaturated fatty acids are really what I want you to focus in on. These are going to be our anti-inflammatory. You don't really need to know the difference. It's just when I think of saturated, you kind of think of something, it doesn't sound all that good, right? When something's saturated, it has too much of something in it. It's just saying that it's saturated with hydrogen. You don't really need to know that's saturated with that backbone of that. I don't need to go into much detail, but that fatty acid has too much hydrogens. We don't need all of that. So that's why the unsaturated fatty acids are great for us, because they are anti-inflammatory. So I don't want you thinking that, oh, they're anti-inflammatory, I'm just going to eat healthy fats all day long and go keto. That's not the answer either. There's a balance with everything. That's the gist of this, is that there's a big balance with this. So you'll get the omega-3s are really good for anti-inflammatory. So all over the body. It's crucial for brain health, which I didn't put in there. The outer layer of our cells are made of this kind of fat, meaning that if you're not eating enough fish, nuts, seeds, whole grains, you might be missing out on your body's ability to keep your whatever it may be inside those cells, the hormones, whatever the vitamins, minerals, even the protein inside that cell. If you don't have that outer layer, if you're not eating an adequate amount of that healthy fat, then we can end up having some hormonal issues. That's typically what the number one thing is. Plus the inflammation. Inflammation is kind of the root of all evil. And again, we'll get to more of that in just a second. And then last, we have carbohydrates. So carbohydrates are our energy source. And so I know right now that ketosis is this huge craze that's going on right now. However, it's not going to be the best route. There's only a few small chunks of people that can actually benefit from that. And there are ones that actually, Alzheimer's patients, dementia, and epilepsy. Those are the only ones that I would ever, as a dietitian, recommend a ketosis diet. And so my husband even asked me the other day, he was like, what if you wanted to do it for a short term? What if you only did ketosis for one day? And I'm like, well, it's just low carb then. You're not putting your body into ketosis. And I'll just do a brief little summary about ketosis because I'm so fired up about not doing that. I just have to keep going on this little tangent. That ketosis is basically your body's backup mechanism. Like we say right here, carbohydrates are our main energy source. And that's one thing that our brains need an influx all day long. And so what happens is when we don't get that, that's where we can kind of get that brain fog. that we can kind of get confused a little bit. And when people with Alzheimer's and dementia, what happens is they have an insulin receptor. So basically, kind of back up one more time, carbs need insulin. Insulin's the key that unlocks the door that allows the carbs to go into our cells. So we don't need that to happen in our brain. There's already receptors in the, on our brain that are like ready to catch the glucose, the carbohydrates, to like use as energy. But what happens when we go into ketosis is that those little receptor sites, they atrophy, they go away, and they don't come back. And so if you're on it for too long, your brain will only be able to function off ketones. If you were to, in like 2 years, be like, I can't do ketosis, you might be struggling really, really hard with your memory. I'm guessing that here in like 15 to 20 years, we're going to have a really big spike in Alzheimer's because of this ketosis craze. That's kind of my guess, because it takes about 20 years for the first symptoms of Alzheimer's to kind of start showing itself. So 20 years, just think about 20 years from now. Do you want to have your memory? Do you want to remember it? Carbs are your friend. But we have to do it in the right amount, and we have to do the right source. So that is crucial. Our carbs are really where we're going to get our fiber, and 9 out of 10 Americans are fiber deficient. So we need more carbs in our diet. So from whole grains, vegetables, fruit, right? This is where our micronutrients, these are where all the vitamins and minerals and micronutrients are really where the magic happens inside of our body. We won't improve our health. We won't lose weight. We won't overcome a health issue. We won't reverse an autoimmune issue. We won't come off meds if you're not receiving the right amounts of micronutrients, the small vitamins, minerals, polyphenols, all these other little components that actually do the work inside of our body. Yes, the protein, the fat, and the carbs are our energy, our building blocks, but we have to think about, like, we have to get from A to B, right? We have to have all these little tools to be able to do these jobs, and that's where our micronutrients, our vitamins and minerals come into play. So like I said, I did say I was going to talk about the portion size, because it does matter. So when you're eating healthy, it's important to keep in mind your portion sizes. So I use the plate method, and this is what I teach my clients as well, because it's really powerful and easy. And we want easy when it comes to eating healthy. We really need this easy. So what we need to be doing is use your hand as your protein. See this picture right here of what not to do? This is a piece of chicken that I took this picture when we were, both of these actually, when we were grilling, camping one couple years back. And, camping, whatever. So I ended up having half my plate of chicken. I didn't end up eating it. I think some of it actually went to the dog, because that's way too much protein. That's a lot of us, what I see is this is what we're doing right now. We're focused in on so much protein, and then we get a little bit of veggies and a little bit of carbs. That needs to be kind of flipped around. We need to have most of our focus on those micronutrients, those vitamins, those minerals, those vegetables. So half the plate to be vegetables, a quarter of it, the plate, to be your protein, and the other quarter of it to be your carbs, your grains. And so that's where you get to use your palm of your hand as your guide for your protein. So don't go above your palm of your hand. If you end up going above your palm of your hands, you're getting too much protein for you. And when we do that, you're not gonna feel good. You're gonna have some issues. I will tell you, I have a client right now who recently switched from going this to this. Her gut health has improved significantly. Huge, huge, huge. And her anxiety is improving. And she's just overall being a lot better. And it's because she's not missing out on those nutrients anymore. When you have half your plate, your veggies, you're setting yourself up for success. Let me grab my water. You're setting yourself up for success, because in those vitamins and minerals inside those vegetables, that right there is where you're going to start seeing the most impact. I know we all think of protein, of those macronutrients, as the biggest impact. Yes, it does, because it does provide some calories for us, but I don't want you to focus on calories. I want you to focus in on what your food is doing for you. How is it making you feel? What is it doing inside the body? And you don't need to know at this point really what each vegetable is going to do, what every little thing's going to do for you. We're just learning the basics today. And so just realizing that, oh, maybe I'm eating way too much protein. Maybe I need to like reduce my size of my protein. And that right there is going to be one of the biggest like changes that you can make in your health is realizing the amount of portion sizes that you're actually eating to what it should be. And one of the biggest things that I cannot stress enough, and this is going to help you remember to do the vegetables and those micronutrients that we were talking about, is to eat the rainbow. You see the picture in the background of this. What are you looking at? You're seeing a vibrancy of colors, right? There's so much color because each color is going to provide you with a different nutrient, with a different antioxidant, with a different thing that's going to protect you. So the red antioxidant is going to protect your heart. You know, it's going to protect the orange one more, your eyes. The green one's going to help out with your anxiety a little bit more. So they all have their really different roles in it. But we can't just focus in on and say, oh, I have anxiety, I'm only going to do green. No, we need to make sure that we're eating the rainbow. And when you have it all, when you're focusing on the color, like we are right here, like, I mean, I know this isn't the best quality of picture, but you can see all the color right here that you're getting versus over here where you only got corn and black beans. Over here, you have a wide variety of vegetables. So that's going to be the biggest thing, is we're reducing our protein and we're increasing our vegetable intake. That's easy because it's easy to say, but it's hard to do sometimes if you don't know how to cook it, if you don't know exactly what to do, if it's just not second nature. I got that. I get it. It can be confusing, but we're going to take it back to basics when it comes to cooking. So don't worry about this. I'm going to help you out. So when you go to start cooking, before I get into the sheet pan meals, what I want you to start doing is whatever recipe you do have, start looking at it as what color is missing. What can I start to add in? You start looking at food and how can I add it into me? What kind of more can I do? You're not feeling restrictive. You're not feeling like, oh my gosh, I can't eat anything. I don't know what to eat. You have an abundance of food. You have so many foods readily available to you. Let's start eating it. Let's start feeling better. The more color you eat, the more fruits and veggies you eat, the better you're going to feel. And so one thing I really enjoy is my sheet pan meals. So this is my sheet pan meal cheat sheet. If you don't already have it, there's plenty of locations that you can grab it. It's always in my emails. It's always on my front page of my website. It's a free cheat sheet that you can do. I have so many people that just that print it up, put it in their pantry, on their fridge, or on a cabinet, indoor of the cabinet, to help kind of guide you until you're able to kind of do this second nature. So the way I like to do my sheet pans is exactly what it sounds like. I throw everything on it. There might be an occasion like last night I made salmon, corn, and green beans. The salmon and the corn went on the same tray. The green beans I did on the stove. So it's still not as much work. The green beans I cut with my kitchen scissors. I cut the ends off instead of having to snap every little one, right? Kitchen hacks make it easier for you. And then that was basically it. I sauteed my green beans with some onions and garlic and some olive oil. Done, easy. Dinner took me 10 minutes of actual work, and it was done in 30 minutes. So I didn't have to really do much. And that happens sometimes when you do like quinoa bowls. I love making quinoa bowls or rice bowls. You put all your veggies, your meat, tofu, whatever it is, on a sheet pan. You cook your quinoa and rice separately. And then once all those roasted veggies are out, you combine everything with a sauce that you make, maybe even some raw veggies to help out. I like that fancy word here, juxtaposition, the difference between the roasted and then the crunch of the raw. I usually do like sliced raw carrots, or purple cabbage is really easy. And then you just make a sauce and you drizzle on top. We sometimes make it too difficult, and it's not that difficult. We just have to put stuff on a tray, roast it in the oven, and you take it out. So I made it really easy for you here to be able to say like 400, 425, depending on like how hot your oven is. At my old house, 425 is perfect. Here at this new house, 400 is like my new 425. So you just kind of have to know your oven and what it is. And then you pick your food mood. Like, what are you feeling like? What food's sticking out to you? Do you feel Mexican? Do you feel like you want Indian, Italian, Thai? These are my 4 favorite food groups, or food moods. What am I trying to say? Ethnic culture, spices. And so obviously there's way more out there, but those are just really easy what you would do. You can, with a, like, say you want to do an Indian, a curried Indian quinoa bowl. So you could have your coconut milk, unsweetened, separate, cook that up with your rice. You can have that in there. Add some turmeric into your rice, but then all the turmeric, the ginger, and the cinnamon, I sprinkle that on my veggies with a little bit of avocado oil. And I do the avocado oil because it has a higher smoke point, meaning it won't smoke at 400 degrees like olive oil will. And that's cancer causing when the oil starts to smoke. So we don't want to do that. And that's it. Just sprinkle it on, and then I put it in there. The rice is doing its thing. I'll clean up some dishes or go play with the kids, do whatever sweet, do something else other than standing over the stove and mixing and doing all this all the time. And then when you're trying to figure out, okay, what kind of veggies and protein do I actually put on this sheet pan? You come in here, pick whatever you want. So you can do any of these will work. Obviously, the edamame and lentils, you might need to put those on later. The same thing with the beans. Those might need to be a separate, basically they're going to get hard in the oven unless they're in some moisture. And then you just kind of go through and make sure that you are hitting as many veggies as you can. So that's why when I buy my vegetables, I buy my bell peppers multicolored, right? I buy a lot of the mini bell peppers that are multicolored. My carrots are rainbow, and I always just making sure that when I'm at the grocery store, I'm picking up the rainbow. I'm not just focusing on all these colors. Like today, I haven't finished drinking my shake. My shake had frozen berries with cherries in it, spinach. I opened up some probiotics. I put in some seeds into it, right? I had some protein powder, some collagen. So it hit all the food groups, as many as food groups as I can, and as many color as I can as well. So huge takeaway. Eat the rainbow. Eat the rainbow, eat the rainbow, eat the rainbow. All right. So this is kind of, if you are cooking on the stove or anything, this is kind of just a very simple kind of cooking little cheat sheet. So no matter what I cook with, I start off with onion and garlic. Whether it be red onion, white onion, yellow onion, or green onion, it's an onion and a garlic. Those are our aromatics. They are going to provide so much flavor. But the thing when you're cooking is that you want to provide different flavors at different times of it. So it's like this, like I said, this is mostly for the stovetop. This does still apply. You can put your onions and garlic on the sheet pan. The garlic will tend to burn. It's more sugar than the onion is, and so I use garlic powder when I put stuff in the oven instead of real raw garlic. But then you choose your base. Are you going to have, what kind of protein are you going to have? What kind of veggies are you going to put in there? Then you find your seasonings, right? Your spices. That's where your spices come in. Then you include your carbs, whatever it may be. A sweet potato, potatoes. I do a lot of French fries with sweet potatoes and regular potatoes in the oven. And then the last step that you're doing, always add your herbs and acid like lemon at the very end of everything. Always. Herbs will cook out. Their flavors will cook out, and also the health benefits of them. And same thing with the acid. You'll still get a little bit of the lemon flavor, but you're going to lose some of that acidity to that heat. So you want to make sure that when you are, if you want some of those flavors, that those are added towards the end. Sometimes, like when I'm using like stews and soups, the herbs can be added in a little bit earlier on because you're not having as high of a heat as you will be when you're sauteing stuff. But for the most part, it's a good rule of thumb to have herbs, anything acidic, balsamic vinegar, all that, to be added at the very end of your food. So you can kind of see how you have this layering effect of you started everything with onion and garlic. Then you add in your protein, your veggies, then you add in your spices, and then separate, you can have your carbs, your pasta, whatever it may be, on the side. And then once it's getting ready to be done cooking, I always do it al dente, meaning I always cook things, especially if I'm sauteing, I cook it a little bit under. So al dente means it has a little bit of a bite to it. So it's not a fully cooked. And I do that because food continues to cook a little bit afterwards. And so it'll actually, I'm sure y'all have done beef before, right? A steak. You have to rest it, right? It'll go up a couple, up to even 10 degrees. All the foods will do that. So I always try to cook them just a little bit under. My veggies, I like high heat and faster because I like having the caramelization to where it's almost charred a little bit. So that's just a personal preference of mine. I don't like soggy veggies. I don't do things that are, I don't do steamed veggies. Let's just say that. I won't do that. It's a texture thing. I don't like it. So, and also to go with this, like that, like you have to know what you like, right? If you like it steamed, go for it steamed. You don't have to have it roasted. It's just, that's a personal preference of mine. And I know I'm going to eat a lot more veggies when I have it roasted, when I have it ready for me. So the key to all of this is to crowd out the bad with the good. We have to kind of smother out that bad, all the inflammation, all the crap that's going on inside of our bodies with the good. But what ends up happening though, sometimes the food isn't enough to crowd out the bad, right? Sometimes we try hard and we're like, I'm eating really good. I'm really eating hard. I'm trying really hard, but I'm not seeing any changes. I'm not feeling any difference. I don't know really what's going on. I'm doing something, but still not anything's happening. Well, this kind of could be what's going on. It's kind of like the iceberg effect, right? Sometimes we're just scratching the surface with the food we eat, and that's why we're not seeing or feeling the way we want to, or the way we think we should be, right? Because we're like, oh, I'm doing really good. I had my veggies at lunch. I had a salad, but really we're only scratching the surface when we have all of this underlying inflammation, all the disease, the free radicals, all the stuff that's just brewing inside of us, that's making you feel sluggish, that's making you feel puffy, worn down. All of that is going to have a little bit of a hindrance for you. So if you're doing the crowding out the bad with the good, right? And hi, Jennifer. I know we're getting on the tail end of things here, but I'm going to come back and show you. This is what we're supposed to be doing, right? If this is where we're at right now with how we're eating, and we're only eating a little bit of veggies, and we should be doing this. Even this right here might not be enough. Even having all these veggies might not even be enough for you to touch all that's going on inside of your body, right? So if we think we're doing well, we're eating good, and that's why some people, like when we're taking supplements, you're like, I started taking the supplement and I still don't really feel a difference. Well, it's just scratching the surface. We have a lot of underlying stuff that's going on inside of us, especially if you have gut health issues, diarrhea, constipation. We're going to talk poop for a second, so just because this is a big thing, and that's one thing that I will say. No one tells me before they start working with me that they have gut issues. Very rarely. I know it's something that y'all kind of keep hiding from you, you're embarrassed about. But after you get to open up, and after they start opening up to me, almost everyone that I work with has some gut health issues that we have to work on. So this could be, hey, you're doing well, you're eating well, but you still have all this underlying inflammation. Maybe you have maybe it's the gut health that needs to be repaired. Maybe you have a thyroid issue that's going on inside of you. Maybe your stress is way up here. And if you think about stress, if you eat something, okay, you combat the stress, and then you drive in the car, and then you get more worked up, and then your boss says there's a deadline, and you have more stress, and you don't eat any more of those, fruits and veggies or anti-inflammatory, we're going to have way more inflammation going on inside of our body. So this is why we can still feel like crud. And this is why we can feel not like our best. And that's why I drink the Superfood Shots. And so this is something that I'm really excited to share with y'all, that I'm going to, if you want to, this basically is over and done. If you want to say, okay, I learned exactly what I needed, I'm done, I'm ready to go. absolutely, peace out. I'm happy with what I taught you. But if you're like, okay, Nicole, I want to continue this, I want to do something more, I have something fun I'd like to invite y'all to. So the Superfood Shots, I've been drinking them now for almost a year and a half. And what they are, they're 2-ounce shots of fruit and veggies, and just the little shots. And so they have like, one of them has like 14 different fruit and veggies in it, but all of them have half days worth of fruit and veggies. And this is where this is going to be important, because if we can crowd out the bad with the good, if we can, with our food, tackle the tip of the iceberg, and then with the supplement, with the superfood shot, will help cover the rest of what's going on, we might be able to see results a lot faster. We might be able to feel better faster and be motivated to do more, right? Because sometimes that's what happens, is that like, I'm doing well, I'm not feeling the best. Y'all, I drink these instead of coffee a lot of times. I'll drink these, like when I went to the concert this past weekend, I went and saw Cage the Elephant. I went and saw a couple of bands, and I took one of these. This is my favorite one. I take the foundation one. Took that before I left to be able to, like, I don't remember the last time I stayed up till midnight, you know? Like, I'm in bed by 9:30. I was in bed by 8:45 last night, because I get up so early, and I have to have that energy to get going to tackle the day. And also, if you are like me with a thyroid issue, we are super sensitive to external stressors. Your thyroid is one of the most sensitive organs in your body. So it's going to be attacked by those free radicals, like really, really hard. So that's why you talk to people like, oh, you have a thyroid disorder, you have a thyroid disorder. Taking something like this, where they're going to have lots of antioxidants in it, we're going to help reduce inflammation, going to help reduce those free radicals, that damage that's going to the thyroid. So this is something that I came up with last week, wanting to do something for y'all to help you out with feeling healthier. So I'm going to do a sip and see challenge. So I want you to, there's going to be a little bit more of this done here, the explanation. There's going to be 24 days. So there's a 24 pack of Superfood Shots. There's going to be it's going to be a 24-day challenge. And we're going to take everyone who's going to be participating in this, I want you to have one of those Superfood Shots a day to start. That way you can start seeing and feeling a difference faster. Sip and see how you feel. Sip and see what goes on. It's literally take a sip and you're done, right? A shot of it, you're done. I'm going to be providing breakfast recipes, lunch, dinner, snacks, support, and guidance through all these 24 days. The only thing you have to do is buy the Superfood Shot. I'll provide everything else for free. So that's like I said, if that's something that you would want to do, I'll send all this information out. And even at that, you get 50% off. So I want to say it's originally like $72 for the 24 pack, and you'll be able to get it for 50% off for 24 days. And you have to have it on the flex shipment. You can have it every month, every 2 months, whatever you want. But to be able to get the discount, it has to be on that flex shipment. And you get 20% off the month thereafter. So if you like how you're feeling after 24 days, you're going to really, really enjoy continuing with that. And so my goal of this is to teach you that we don't have to do it all at once. We don't have to like have breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks perfect. I want you to start realizing that, yes, the new food is going to make you feel better. The nutrition, those micronutrients, those antioxidants, those fruit and veggies are going to make you feel amazing, but it's hard to get those in. So we can start feeling better. And I'm going to teach you how to incorporate the breakfast, lunch, dinner, and the support and the lifestyle along with that. So you'll be able to feel and see the results faster with the Superfood Shots. But I'm going to be able to teach you and be able to guide you through those 24 days. So that way you are successful. When it comes to healthy, I don't want it complicated for you. And so many people are making it complicated. We just need the basics. We need to bring it back to, let's eat, let's have balanced meals. Let's do what we just talked about. And then from there, the patience, the time, it will start to change. You'll start to see it. But I think a lot of times is when I see a lot of my clients is that they second guess themselves. They kind of, like another one reached out to me. I woke up in the middle of the night for 40 minutes. I couldn't fall asleep. Do you think it's the supplement I just started? And I'm like, well, let's talk about what's going on in your life. Yeah, I was a little bit more stressed. Okay, then here's a couple foods that you can start to eat at night that can help you feel better, right? So having myself there, I was able to, so she wasn't freaking out of something's wrong with her. It's no, you're a little bit more stressed than you were. Let's refocus on that. Here are some foods that are going to help out. Here are some other techniques that we can do. So that's what you're going to be getting with this 24-day challenge. You'll be able to have like ask questions in the group and be like, hey, I'm struggling with this. What did y'all do? So that's really what this is, what I really wanted this to be for y'all to about. So that's really it. Does anyone have any questions? You can feel free to ask. You can raise your hand, whatever it may be. No questions yet? No. You're the only one I can see, Jennifer, so you better ask.
Oh, really? I'm the only one that added video?
Now everyone else is all blacked out. They didn't put their video on.
Oh. I'm like, I don't care. I sat here and ate in front of you.
Yeah. Nah, you're good. No, but
I joined late. I didn't realize I needed to download the app and.
Oh no, that's okay.
And so when I went in, it was like I live in the sticks in the middle of Texas, and so it just took a second for it to.
No worries. Well, and I'm going to be sending this in an email in the replay, so you'll be able to catch the first half of it anyways. Okay. So yeah, you'll be able to catch the real stuff really while you're here, not just the next step to go from this.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like I said, if you have any questions after you're done watching the replay, definitely you can ask in the, if you're a part of my free Facebook group and the Health Warriors, you can ask in there, or you can reply to an email. Either way, I just want to make sure I'm able to help y'all in your next step. So yeah, if you don't have any questions, like I said, I'm going to send all this in an email. The start date for this, I want to say is August 8th. So I wanted to give you guys enough time to get the vegetable, the superfood shot delivered to you. They don't need to be refrigerated. They are easy. They're shelf stable. I prefer them refrigerated. But I mean, so if you are like, okay, I need them to, take with me to work, or maybe you want to take it. I have some clients that use it as a post-workout. They use the turmeric blend one as a post-workout to help reduce inflammation. The immunity blend is really helpful because it has that elderberry in it. If you kind of feel a little sluggish and sick a little bit, but they're fantastic. They taste great. They're decently low in sugar. They do taste sweet because they have fruit in it, but they don't have any added sugar. They're vegan, they're GMO, all made in the US. Even their packages are eco-friendly, which is really cool. Like the middle part, you can like just dissolve in water. It just like goes away. It's cool. So it's just a company that I really, really back, and it helps me feel well, and my kids love it. And I just really feel like it's going to be an easy way for y'all to be able to learn how to eat healthy and feel the difference when this in this 24-day sip and see challenge. So yeah, if like I said, if y'all don't have any more questions, let me see. Oh, wait, I think I have someone in here in chat. Okay, so it says, Benita, I don't have a camera nor a mic, my computer screen. Okay, does this replace a vegetable or is it a supplement? Great question. So it is half a day's worth of your fruits and veggies. So technically, yes, you could replace it, but I don't want you to think like that. Because we need to try to meet our fruits and veggies with our food. And so let's just think of it as we're turning up the dial. We're going to see those results a lot faster. We're going to feel the results. Because like I said, even with me, even with myself being a dietitian, like I said, I've been a dietitian for 11 years. Even before then, I didn't feel as good as I did now eating all the fruits and veggies. And as you saw my shake, I mean, I obviously put in a decent amount of veggies in here. I had a whole spinach handful for myself. And that was my breakfast. Yesterday's breakfast was 2 days ago dinner, which was all veggies. So I eat a decent amount of it, but stress, anxiety causes this right here, all this inflammation inside the body. And so the last year and a half was me moving into my business by myself. That was me saying adios to working in dialysis, to working the healthcare system, and putting a lot of this internal stress on myself, which was not a good thing, right? And so having a supplement like this has just basically means that I'm going to continue to eat well. I'm going to continue to do this, but I'm going to crowd out all that bad, and I'm going to really start feeling good. I'm really going to get over what's going on. And I really encourage these, and I have my clients doing these specifically at the start of their health journey, because that's when the inflammation's the worst. That's when you can't get in all your fruits and vegetables. That's when you kind of struggle with everything. So having those specifically at the start of your health journey, or at least when you're starting something like this, like, okay, I'm going to start following what Nicole's saying, having it like this, you're going to see the results faster, stay motivated to keep going. Because how many times have you done something and then you're not seeing the results, you're not feeling it, so you get squirrel syndrome and go, oh, I need to try something else, right? This must not be working for me. I must be trying something else. But in reality, a lot of times what we were doing was the right thing. It just wasn't enough, right? It just wasn't enough of those fruits and veggies. And so that's where that superfood shot comes in. I take it, like I'm going to, we have a 7-hour drive this weekend. We're going to go spread my husband's grandmother's ashes. I'm taking those for myself and the kids, because we're going to be in the car. I packed as much fruit as I could, or I'm packing as much fruit as I can to take with us. I'm packing some nuts, but traveling in the car, we're not going to be eating our veggies. We're not going to be eating those quota. And I don't want to have GI issues. I don't want my kids to have, pooping issues. So we take those on the trips like that with us as well. So you can use it as a supplement for like most of the time, or you can use it to replace those fruit and veggies. That helps a little bit. Replacing the fruit and veggies are only on a as needed basis. It's not a daily thing. Hope that helps. So I'm glad I saw this chat, because I almost got off. That would not have been good. Do you have any other questions, Benita? I want to make sure that before I get off and start that email for you guys, that's it. All right. No, you're good. What about you, Jennifer? Anything else that I can help you out with?
Not right now. I can always email you separate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or send you a chat or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds good. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for being here and taking the time to learn how to, nutrition, how to get the basics in, how to cook simple, healthy meals. And I'm really excited to help continue with and give you all some action steps to go forward and look forward to with this 24-day sip and see challenge. So I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, I will keep in contact with you guys, and I'll see you all soon. Y'all have a great day. Out of here.
How do I do that?